Early on August 15, 1945, the final day of World War II, and 6 F-6F Hellcats are being led by Lieutenant Howard Howdy Harrison on a fighter sweep in the direction of the Tokyo region. A group of Japanese fighters are ready to intercept at the Otsugi airfield, which is their target. Harrison notices the airfield in the distance. The target is visible. Arm HVARs, boys. The American pilots are ready to launch an assault. Harrison's finger lingers over the pickle button as he grabs his HVR rockets and dives for the airfield. As the target approaches, they receive a communication that says, "Return to base immediately. The conflict has ended. The war is done." I say again, yeah, we succeeded. As the Hellcats turn around, the radio bursts with applause. V for victory, sweetheart. The conflict is indeed over. Japanese fighters come in behind the Americans as they return home, and pilots let loose in celebration, launching their planes into victory rolls and loops. Lieutenant Yutaka Morioka of the Japanese Navy shivers as he observes the Americans' festivities. Even after realizing what must have happened, he is still in shock, that is, until he hears a radio broadcast that says, "Return to base. The Emperor gives us orders. Japan has been humiliated. Stop fighting." During a battle with American aircraft, Morioka witnesses some army pilots obey instructions and return to base while experiencing phantom agony in his hand. Morioka decides to dive at the Americans, since this is his final opportunity to get revenge on his country. The Emperor long live. With the help of the remaining army fighters, his Navy fighter group pursues him in a classic ambush that strikes like an invisible serpent. Hooray! Many rats are diving around 6 o'clock. Harrison looks over his shoulder. "You all discard your rockets and tanks. The ceasefire is being violated. The height advantage of the Japanese is 4,000 feet. Harrison then opens the throttle completely. He snaps the squadron around and leads them into a climb to meet the attackers. The Japanese aircraft are equipped with powerful 20mm cannons. Harrison, however, is aware of how flimsy the Japanese defense is. They could have a chance if his Hellcats use their 6.50 caliber cannons to cover the skies with lead. As the two sides rapidly close the distance, the pilots align their targets. Then, when the formations cut through each other, they open up and launch a wall of lead. Harrison meets Morioka's gaze for a moment. Already have 3. Split up into pairs. The Hellcats broke up. T-Zero's launch cannon fire at Harrison and his wingman, causing them to dart and weave. Harrison exclaims, "Break, break, I'm going right," as he descends faster. He is trapped in a spiraling combat with the Japanese pilot who sticks with him. There's just one way out, as each man tries to put the other in his line of sight. Harrison awaits his turn with taut muscles and his eyes darting to his altitude and airspeed indicators. He violently pulls back on his stick, dumping speed and soaring high. The Japanese plane pulls up after Harrison. Harrison's engine growls in protest and the G-forces push him back into his seat. Rounds whiz past the Japanese pilot's canopy as he flies across his nose, cruelly exposing him for a brief period. Harrison, however, maintains his composure and spins around to see the Japanese fighter shoot beneath him, swift and exposed. The Japanese aircraft stalls, turning around and starting to tumble. "You got it." At the apex of the rise, Harrison's plane slows down and nearly stalls. Zero fills Harrison's gun sight. He pulls the trigger, and the weight of his engine pushes him down toward his target as he pulls hard on the stick. The Zero is torn apart by the Hellcats' guns, hammer and torrents of lead. As the fuel tanks catch fire, flames erupt, causing the airplane to flip onto its back before plummeting away in a cloud of dense black smoke. Harrison relaxes his throttle. "Boss, I can't shake him," he exclaims as his breathing returns to normal and he looks about at the dogfights going on around him. Ensign Billy Hobbs, 22, is his wingman. Hobbs has a Japanese fighter glued to his tail and he is throwing his aircraft from side to side as he desperately avoids the incoming rounds. The enemy is unaware that the Hellcat is approaching from above as Harrison cranks his throttle forward and charges back into the battle, plunging down on the Japanese fighter. Harrison prepares his shot, pulls the trigger, and the Japanese plane is hit by round after bullet, and debris shoots across the sky as it explodes. "Keep an eye out." "Thanks, boss. I thought I was a goner. There are plenty more out there." And he is correct. Lieutenant Theodore Ted Hansen and Lieutenant Morris Maury Proctor, his flight leader, are 2 of his pilots, are engaged in combat with 3 fighters from the Imperial Japanese Army who are directly in their path. Hansen launches a barrage of machine gun fire at the first adversary. The Japanese aircraft twists toward the ground as the rounds rip off a portion of its wing. Hansen modifies his aim and tears his opponent's nose and fuselage as a second Japanese pilot fires, sending his shots high over his canopy. However, the third Japanese pilot continues to approach, firing round after round. Hansen rolls to the right because he doesn't have time to line up his target, but Proctor is prepared behind him and has a clear shot as the Japanese jet passes. There isn't time to celebrate victory, though, as Proctor shoots down the Japanese aircraft, cutting off its wing and sending it hurtling to Earth. A neighboring Dogfight sends a frantic message over the radio. "I can't shake him, it's Solov." A Japanese fighter is firing heavily at Lieutenant Joseph Solov and Ensign Eugene Manderberg, the third set of American pilots. As their aircraft continue to take hits, Solov notices an explosion. Solov's jet is hit by more shots while Manderberg's Hellcat catches fire. The confident Japanese pilot inside the Raiden, locked onto Solov's tail, takes his time and shoots the American aircraft while maintaining a precise target. Proctor slides in behind the Japanese fighter, failing to notice that two other American pilots are plunging down to assist. There was a blast of machine gun fire as his guns opened. Proctor pulls up beside his comrade as the Japanese pilot spins to the ground. After feeling the rounds hammer into his aircraft, Solov's engine is sputtering, the wings and tail are full of holes, and the damage is evident. "Get out of here, Joe. Head for the sea." They roll away and make their way to the combat zone's edge, saying, "I'll cover you." However, Solov's propeller fails, causing the nose to descend quickly. Solov struggles to maintain control over his crippled aircraft. Gauges whirl uncontrollably and warning lights flash. He struggles with the stick, but his control surfaces are unresponsive. "Come on, bail out." They witness the parachute plummeting from the aircraft. They watch him plunge into the ocean since the height is so low. Take note of the situation. Now that he's alone, bandits are on the way. From the front, 6 Japanese army fighters dash in their direction. On R6-2, as a storm of adversaries pursues them, the two pilots seek shelter in the clouds. They can no longer see each other as the cloud gets thicker. Too many of them. Another pair of Hellcats is already speeding toward the shore across the skies. "I'll see you back on Yorktown." Hobbs and Harrison attempt to flee as well, but they are not by themselves. Lieutenant Morioka appears out of nowhere. His wingman is right behind him, looking for an opportunity to attack. Harrison had little time to respond to this flawless ambush. "I'm on the leader." He tries to tug on the stick, but it's too late. Harrison feels the Hellcat tremble beneath him as heavy gun rounds crash into his aircraft. "I'm hit hard. Damn it. Break off. Bill. Break off." But Hobbs doesn't break. He turns directly in the direction of the assailants and guns his throttle. He shoots a blast at Morioka. However, the Japanese aircraft's bullets spray ineffectively because he is not well aimed. The approaching fire is ignored by Morioka. He remains focused on his objective. He unleashes another round of cannon fire, striking the Hellcat squarely. All that remains after the Hellcat explodes is a cloud of smoke and falling debris. Harrison Hobbs squints his eyes. Enraged, he dives after the Japanese ace. After drawing Morioka into his line of sight, Hobbs opens fire. The Zero's wings are struck by machine gun bullets, but the Japanese ace escapes. Hobbs doesn't check his 6 since he is so preoccupied with Hobbs doesn't realize Morioka's wingman is diving in behind him until the bullets hit his plane. Take out the American Demon. After flying through the aircraft, shrapnel collides with Hobbs's torso. He realizes he must escape as flames lick the area around his cockpit. Hobbs opens the canopy despite being hurt and exerting a lot of effort. His Hellcat burns and tumbles beneath him as he jumps out of his downed aircraft and plummets to the ground, dangling beneath his parachute. After roaring by, Morioka and his wingman disappear into the distance, going back home to an uncertain future. Billy Hobbs, however, hardly notices what is going on. He loses consciousness. Before he even touches the ground, he is dead. Hansen flees from a bank of clouds while back in the air. He looks up into the sky, but he is by himself. Proctor Harrison, goddammit, does anyone know? As Hansen maps his route back to USS Yorktown while gazing out to sea, he hears a sound in his earpiece. Hansen. Broken. Carrier. At least one more person is alive, so Hansen rushes toward the carrier. As his Hellcat lands on the deck, he leaps out of the cockpit and looks around the deck and the skies, finding no other aircraft. His heart drops, wondering if the other Hellcat has fallen into the ocean, but suddenly he sees it in the distance. It's Proctor, another Hellcat. Despite having his plane severely damaged, he is able to successfully nurse it in and land on the carrier. The two soldiers, who are the only American survivors, are reunited on the flight deck. According to Morioka of the Japanese side, the Americans had not abandoned their missiles. but justified his action by launching their rockets at the Atsugi airport following the Japanese capitulation. 9 Japanese pilots and 4 American pilots were shot down in the last dogfight of World War II on the day peace was proclaimed. See our film, War in the Pacific, to witness more amazing tales from the Pacific Theater.